Good morning. Welcome to Interfaith Community Sanctuary. We are so happy to have everybody here today, everybody who's sitting here in person in our circle of love, everybody who's online and listening in from afar. And we're very excited this morning because we have our guest worship service. Well, it's the first Sunday of August, and this tradition of having guests do our worship service has been going on, well, I want to say since time immemorial, but you know what I mean about that. Since we've really begun, since we've opened as a community back in 1990, I believe it was. And so we honor this tradition of welcoming presenters from outside our community, although in this case, and in many cases recently, they've been presenters from within our community who are offering special programs that operate sometimes out of the Sunday morning venue type of spiritual practice. So we include in spiritual practices in our dictionary of spiritual practice of many different kinds of social service and humanitarian service and international service that we are engaged in. And today we are very thrilled to be introducing our staff and volunteers from Peace Camp International, which takes place every year in the summer here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary, and it's going on this week and last week and for 4 weeks running. And for 10 years, this is our 10-year anniversary of Peace Camp International here in Seattle. And Peace Camp International is called Peace Camp International because it operates in other countries as well, and its various, what we might call its various iterations. And it takes place in Uganda under the direction of Mr. Bernard Omuse, who's with us today, and he's a counselor here. He's a head of a school, a director of a school for orphans in Uganda, in the Tororo region of Uganda, and he is very active in, I'm not sure what your exact role is, in the whole organization of the Ugandan orphans. Wait a minute, I got it. I practiced this. Ugandan orphans. UMOP. Ugandan. What's the M? Martyr. I don't know why I forgot that one. Ugandan Martyrs Orphans Project, which is a huge project of education and spiritual development and artistic development for children who have been orphaned because of the AIDS epidemic in Africa. So Bernard's going to share with us a little bit about how we are interconnected and involved in that program. And we also have with us Mangesh Pol, who is another one of our directors here, our main director here of Peace Camp International this summer, and a very active participant and counselor in Peace Camp for the last 5 years. And he comes to us from India and from the Maher orphanage village. Maher means mother's home, which he grew up in from age 5 or 6. He's grown up in the Maher village there. I call it a village. Is that okay? It's a home. It's a home with thousands of women and children who have no other home and who have made their life there. And it's run by Sister Lucy Curian, who is an incredible Catholic nun who turned into an interfaith, I don't know, you might call her an interfaith sister, having a senior moment. The Catholic mother who, Sister Mother, or Mother, she's an interfaith Mother Teresa, in my opinion. And Sister Lucy is one of our dearest and closest supporters, and the mother of, simply speaking, the mother of thousands of orphans and women and men in India who she serves at Maher. And they also have a big project for children there. And then we have Aiden, who is our American representative on the Peace Camp International, and he's been a wonderful participant and leader in our Peace Camp for many years now. And this wonderful group is going to present to you, along with Gretchen Rowe, our founder and director of Peace Camp International, and our projects all over the world, and she's involved in all of them. She's been to Uganda and run Peace Camp there with Bernard and his colleagues. She's been to Maher and helped there and volunteered there. And she's the one who brought us all together into one big, massive community, and we're just so grateful to her for doing that. And this is, I said, the 10th year of Peace Camp International. So I made that long enough so all the latecomers could make it in, and I think we're ready to start. Thank you.
I'm just going to use my hand here because I like to walk around. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And I want to welcome you to ICS. And I'm a member of this wonderful community. And this is the oldest, longest-running wood-building church structure in King County. And it's like, it is the foundation of Peace Camp International, I will tell you. And I'll tell you my story about that in a little bit. But first, I want to, we're going to do the normal rituals that we do at ICS. And first of all, I'm going to pass it over to Bernard, who's going to share with us his traditions from Uganda and honoring the ancestors. You can hold it a little bit away.
Thank you so much. Good morning. I am very happy to be joining this service this morning, and I bring greetings from my motherland, Uganda, and Africa. And today I just want to share with you a small ancestral ritual that we have in Africa. And as you may know, or you may not know, in Africa we have vibrations through music, dance, and that is how we invoke and call on our ancestors. So I would just kindly request you to stand up a little bit, because I'm going to invoke and call our ancestors. In Africa, when we call our ancestors, there are several ways we call our ancestors. So usually, sometimes we drum, sometimes we sing, sometimes we dance. But today I'm going to sing just a small little song that I remember growing up as a little boy. So usually we would go, Yalami kapeli kokileni keni, Yalami kapeli. And it's very easy, even if you're old, you're young. If you're old, you just go on shaking your head like this. So, but the young people just go on, you know, it's a vibration. So where I come from, the eastern part of Uganda, you know, we are cattle keepers. So as young people, we would just go on, you know, they would send you as an initiation into growth, into adulthood or adolescence. They would take, give you like 100 cattle to go and look after. And as a process, when you come back home, you have to come back home joyful. And when you go, you have to go joyful. So as you come back, sometimes your parents would see you and then they say, Yalami kapeli kokileni keni, Yalami kapeli ututu ututu. So the parents would say, ututu. Then for you as a young man who has survived so many obstacles on the way, you would respond. So you would hear your father or mother saying, ututu. Then you give. So can we all say, ututu. Yalami kapeli kokileni keni, Yalami kapeli ututu. Yalami kapeli kokileni keni, Yalami kapeli. Good. So that is, so it's rhythm. So it's not about any of us. It's about all of us. So in like calling our ancestors, you form a kind of rhythm that suits all generation of people, because you know it has to be an all-inclusive kind of, you know, activity. So if the person cannot sing, the person will dance. If the person cannot dance, the person will just make that movement. That's why I said for the old people, because you know the bones are a bit giving way, you just go on, you know. Because this is easy, right? Everybody can do that. So thank you so much. I will just do one last time. Ututu, Yalami kapeli kokileni keni, Yalami ututu, Yalami kapeli kokileni keni, Yalami kapeli. Thank you. So now I'll pass over this to Aiden to call on our to recognize the first peoples of this land. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernard. Hello, my name is Aiden. We would like to just take this moment to recognize the indigenous people who have been living here since for many centuries. So the Duwamish people have been the stewards of this land and continue to shape the history of the Pacific Northwest region, and so we would like to acknowledge them. So let's have like a moment of like 5 seconds of silence. Thank you. And another part of this, with Peace Camp, we have Siswinkle, who is part of the Tulalip tribe. We're lucky to have her come in, and she teaches the children and the counselors and everyone involved a little bit of her traditions and some songs. And so just two that I would like to share with you all today is Ihaichka, which means a big thank you and hello to high-class people. So Ihaichka, if everyone can say Ihaichka. And turn to your neighbors and say Ihaichka. Ihaichka. Beautiful. And then another tradition that we learned is you put your hand on your heart and then you bring it up to the Creator and you give your message to the Creator, and maybe the Creator will give you a message in return, which you then put back into your heart. So let's do that. And you go, oh. Thank you. Beautiful. And now I'd like to give it to Mangesh to honor the Divine Feminine.
Thank you, Aiden. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, Auntie Gretchen. We'll take a moment and just relax our body, our mind, and our heart. And now, in a moment, Aiden and me will honor the Divine Feminine with the lighting of lamp. And in Peace Camp, we also have a tradition. In every single morning, with the circle of love, we light the lamp and we talk about the beauty of outer beauty and inner beauty. And in India, we talk about the light, the candle, it burns ourselves and gives the light to others. So humans are also that. Sometimes we have to sacrifice some things for others to get the humanity in circle. And now I will share in a Hindu religion, in India, we say the feminine energy, how with the singing. So I want to honor and do that for you all. Can you hold the mic? Can you put your hands like this? And the name called Anjali. And Anjali is a beautiful name of Divine Feminine. It's a light in India. And now I will do, you just repeat while you say me. Anjali, 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 Anjali. Repeat. Anjali, 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 Anjali. दीप सुमन अंजलि हम करते हैं अंजलि दीप सुमन अंजलि हम करते हैं अंजलि 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 Anjali, Anjali. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Aiden. After this calling ancestor and the first land, Duwamish land, and then Fima and Divinan, I would like to hand over this mic to our founder and director of the Peace Camp International, Gretchen Rowe.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Aiden, Mangesh, and Bernard. Wasn't that beautiful? They did a really nice job. We each have a little part, as you see in your program, and my part is to give the history and everything of Peace Camp International. On the way here, I actually got teary, and I thought I was going to start crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, don't start crying, Gretchen, during the service. But I think I got the big emotion out on the way here, so now I can talk about it. First, I want to say how grateful I am to the three of them. And I know we look male-heavy, and I've been self-conscious about that, but if you knew how much I'm like at them, and also I have our counselors in training who I didn't want to, I don't know, I had this thing about having them get up early on Sunday morning after they've been helping for 3 weeks. And many of them either identify as girl or I'm not very good at the non-binary or non-binary. I'm trying to get better, but so we represent all of the genders. I mean, Peace Camp is everything. We're all everything. I want to say last year I was really tired, and especially Bernard and Mangesh heard me say, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. I can't keep doing this. We have to, like, bring everybody in so I can pass the baton on. And I told the parents that at the end of last year. And I've always said, Peace Camp is not about any one person. It's about all of us. And whatever you miss in a person who's not there, that must be a quality that you have inside yourself, but you haven't developed it yet, and you admire it in that other person, and you want them. So I really push kids, if one of the counselors that they like isn't there that day or that week, and they're like, where's Bernard? I was like, what about the rest of us? So I always tell them, whatever you liked about Bernard or Mangesh or Aiden, what did you like about him? What did you bring that out in yourself? And I really push. They don't like me to push, but eventually it's good, and they start being that particular quality for other people in the camp, and then, that all of a sudden you have a new leader. So this past year, I was diagnosed with cancer, so I've had treatment this year. So all of a sudden, these guys, they knew that they were going to take more of a leadership role, but they thought that I was going to be here holding, that barky space. And all of a sudden, we're all having to deal with the grief, with the pressure. Like each of us, there's some grieving that goes with that. And then there's this pressure. Even I feel pressure, and they feel pressure to be that piece of the person who's not there. And Aiden's young, Mangesh isn't from here, Bernard's not from here, so everybody, it's been hard work, right? They're exhausted. Peace Camp already is exhilaratingly exhausting. So I know, I want to say publicly, I know how hard you guys have had to work. I know how I feel after 1 week of Peace Camp in Uganda. So I want to really take time to appreciate, I'm not really even missed. I mean, I'm sure there's a certain feeling there, but I don't think the kids go home and go, wow, I really miss Gretchen today. And they have held the spirit of Peace Camp. And let's give them a hand, because I want to. Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful teaching. I love that. So now, talking about the spirit of Peace Camp, when I first started coming to Interfaith Community Sanctuary about, I don't know, maybe 13 years ago, something like that, I love this building. And it felt like how I used to feel in my grandma's house. And I love my grandma. I call her like my first spiritual guide, even though I wouldn't have known to think that back then, or she wouldn't have even thought of herself that. But now through time, I'm like, yeah, I think like she was my first spiritual guide. And all of my cousins, she's the kind of person where everyone thinks that she liked me best. Like all my cousins, we all think, oh, Grammy liked me best. So when I came here, I was like, wow, this feels like Grammy's house, and wow, there aren't any kids here. And so I remember telling Jamal and Karen, like, the one thing that's missing are kids in this space. And so then I'm a teacher by profession, and in my classroom, something that that was kind of a little bit annoying to me is how kids move about in the classroom like it's a playground or a soccer field. And I don't know, in my experience as a public school teacher in Seattle, hardly anyone goes to church where I've taught. And in fact, one time I brought Bernard's brother, Father Centurio from UMOP, to speak at different classes where I was teaching, and he wears the collar. He's a Catholic priest. He wears the collar, and I asked the kids what they thought his profession was. And they said milkman, mailman. It took a long time, actually. And then finally a girl said, I know, he's one of those people that talks at, what's that place where people go and and anyway, with help, we eventually got it. So I thought I want to do a day camp. I want to do a day camp here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary that has the intimacy of an overnight camp. Because when I was young, like Aiden's age, that's what I did in the summer. I worked at summer camps, and I loved it. And so I thought, wow, this is a perfect opportunity for me, because when I did summer camp, I've always had this spiritual, the light, that wanting to honor the light within, but everything that I didn't have that. And so I thought, I want to do something like that. So then I wrote a proposal to Karen, and then Peace Camp grew out of that. My son and his friend were my two Peace Camp counselors. And then from there, I met Sister Lucy and started bringing, thankfully getting visas and bringing people from Maher. But I want to go back to the spirit of Peace Camp, that it's always been my dream to blend everything, blend the intimacy, the light within, beauty, my beauty. I always say on Monday, the light within me works with the light with you, and beauty interacts with beauty. And that we hold Peace Camp at Interfaith Community Sanctuary. We talk about what a sanctuary is. It's a safe place. It doesn't mean that everything's perfect and feelings don't get hurt or skin knees don't happen, but it is a place where we notice that and we help each other with that. And I've had to really, really hold on to that. In addition to that, Peace Camp, we have our pillars that we do. We have a morning circle time. We have where we light the candle, share of the feelings. We do a short meditation. We have a stretching. We have Bollywood dancing. We have snack. We have eating. We have going to the park. I make them play for 10 minutes together, a community game. It's multi-age. So I say this because they write in journals. We have a closing circle. I say this because I'm often asked, what makes Peace Camp Peace Camp? Like, what do you do? And as a teacher who's been teaching for a long time, I got so tired of these workshops or these new curriculums that now everybody's going to be good at math because this new curriculum is so great. Or here's a new way to do this. And you're like constantly teaching a way. But you're always going to miss something if you're teaching something. So a beautiful thing about Peace Camp is with those little structures that we have, the rest of the time is free choice. The kids can do art. They can play a really competitive game on 2 Square and get in an argument. They can play spike ball. They can play Connect 4, play Sorry. There are all kinds of art projects to do. And our counselors are always available to play with them unless they want to play by themselves. We have Legos. So that is another piece. If all of us think when we were young, do you remember how fun it was, either if our parents or an older person sat down and played a game with us, or did imaginary play? Like, that was always, with my own kids, will you play this with me? Will you play Legos with me? And my niece, I hated playing Barbies, and so did my sister. And my niece loved playing Barbies, so when I'd go visit Abigail, will you play Barbie with me? And my sister would go, come on, Gretchen, you play Barbie with her now. But we do that at Peace Camp. And so that's the rule. If you see a child playing by themselves, go over and ask, do you want someone to play with, or can I play with you? And if they want to play by themselves, that's fine. But usually they want someone to play with. And all those little things are what make Peace Camp. Because the heart, that inner connecting is at rest, because someone is always connected. And if someone isn't connected, then we have this great team. We have an awesome group of CITs this year who are aware of that. And they see the face, they see the body language, they pay attention to that, and they come into it appropriately. Actually, Max, will you raise your hand? She's one of our CITs. And I just I just thought of that because what popped into my mind is a story about Max being so good at it, and I'm like, wait, Max is here. They're really good at noticing when someone is standing back, watching, but maybe doesn't know how to integrate and play, and they do it so nicely. Hi. No problem. But I'm going to stop talking for now. I gave you the essence of Peace Camp. I think you get the feeling of it. And I'm going to hand it over to Bernard. Are you next? Yeah, good. Okay, thank you.
I'll take her space so that I have a continuation from where she stopped. Good morning once again. I introduced myself earlier on as Bernard. Omuse is my other name. Peace Camp International has been a journey for us, and for me specifically. I think the first time I came to the US, I was just, excited to, go on a journey of what I could learn and what I could take home. So when I came here, I was introduced to this wonderful experience of camp. And as most of you may not know, we don't have like summer camp experiences in most of Africa, and specifically Uganda, we don't have that. So when I came here, the first challenge, the first cultural shock that I got was, some kids were really, really not as open to interact. But I said, well, this is why I'm here, and I have to unlock this kind of, experience for them. So I remember one good experience is when, the first time we went to the playground, and the kid did not want really to come closer to me, but the next day I said, that is my assignment. And I will have to make it a point that that kid will play with me. The next day, that kid was seated on my, I don't know what they call this. She was seated on my neck, and I was carrying him from the playground back to the sanctuary. So that is the kind of experience that Peace Camp International has, been for us. For me, Peace Camp has not just been an experience of like an ordinary summer camp experience. It has been actually a journey and a lesson for me, because when I came here, I asked Auntie Gretchen, we call her Auntie Gretchen, And in Uganda now, she's known as Auntie Gretchen. I don't know even whether other kids know her other name, but Auntie Gretchen is now her original name. So I asked her, this camp seems to be very good. I think we can carry this and take this to Uganda, because there are so many kids who are not confident, there are so many kids who are not open to sharing, and there are so many kids who can benefit from this, from my part of the country. And then we carried this. It was, I remember it was just an experimental kind of first-time experience. We had kids, we got some of the things that most kids here take for granted. We took toys, we took soccer balls, and some of the crayons, pencils. Auntie Gretchen will tell you here that an ordinary pencil that a kid throws around here is shared among us 4 kids in Uganda. So when we took like all these pencils she came with, the kids were saying, wow, this is the best camp we've ever experienced. And it was a whole new experience. I remember she was a traffic officer somewhere when we took all, toys, and every kid was struggling to just hold the old toys that the kids take for granted here. So what she invented was, I'll be the traffic officer. When you misuse a toy, you bring it back to the police station and somebody else can take it to use it. Yeah, and it was a whole lot of experience. Now, in addition to that, when we took Peace Camp International to Uganda, there were small things that we started adding onto. We visited the prison, and for the very first time, we're able to, unlock the love that the kids can bring to people who are in confinement. When we went to prison, the women were dancing with the kids. They were so joyful. They said, we've never seen this kind of group come to visit us. You are the very first group that has visited us and has brought so much joy. And we didn't take money. We were taking just our smiles, and that's what Aunt Gretchen has taught us, that in each of us there is a light that is lighting, and we can share that light, and nobody can put that light away from us. The next, session that we had was, for the very first time, we went to this college in Uganda, and we picked trash all over the institution. And the students who were studying in that institution were saying, who are these people? They are so unique. We are the ones who have been throwing all this trash around, and they are the ones coming to pick it for us. And it was so interesting. So today, every year that we organize Peace Camp, it's just us to decide how many can come. This last time we had Peace Camp, we budgeted for 65 kids, and it was no mistake that we had 75. And as Aunt Gretchen says, do not send them away. Give them an opportunity. So once we make that mistake, we try to manage the mistake within. So we had to say, now how do we adjust some of these things to make it possible for everybody? Because they are already there. In Uganda, when they arrive, you have to, adjust to it. It's not here where you have to sign in. Of course, that process is done, but anyway, back to Peace Camp. There are so many things that we've been able to learn from Peace Camp. Personally, I have grown with Peace Camp International because I am a better leader. My friend has been leading and he's younger than me. Most of you might see me small in body, but I am a father of 3 girls. I am 43. And Mangesh has been able to show me direction in areas that I thought, maybe I could be better. But Peace Camp is that growing kind of environment that enables you to, rise to every challenge. And there is no specific thing that you can anticipate that can happen at Peace Camp. You come here for Foursquare, you will find that the rules have been changed, and you have to adjust to the new rules. The kids invent new games from old games. If you have been all these rules of the games that have been, invented in the USA, when you come to Peace Camp, it will be changed. You come to play spike ball, they will tell you, there is a shrimp, there is a what. So when the kids, at first we were asking, what is a shrimp? I knew shrimp as some sea animal, but when you come to peace camp, it is when that ball hits that round part of the spike ball and it hits the ring and they call it a shrimp. So peace camp is fun, and I mean, for those of you who have not come here when it is like a community activity, nobody is left out. But I'll go back to Uganda. Peace camp, for the last 2 years, I told Auntie Gretchen, please stay back. I want us to see how we can continue peace camp even when you are not there. Because there is going to be a time when probably you'll be so engaged to come to Uganda. Will it stop? You can't light a candle and put it off. Once you light a candle, you let it light other candles. So I kept this Peace Camp International, umbrella flying, and I'm so happy to have done that, because as my sister started an orphanage in Uganda, she said, please pass the candle to another person. Actually, just as I wind up finally, my sister started this orphanage, and as you may have not known, she was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS, and she was taking care of children. So when she was going to die, because she had children, and she had started a poultry project, which she later on called the Uganda Matters Orphans Project, she called my brother and said, take care of my chicken. The chicken then were not really the chicken. They were the children whom she was taking care of. So I want to believe that Peace Camp is that kind of chicken we want to continue raising, and we want to believe that this is a good experience that has enabled kids in our community grow. And every year, it's really, really a challenge. This past year, we've been able to put it up on social media, and somebody contacted me from Kenya, and 2 people came from Kampala. That is how much we try to make this a program that people can really believe in, and I can guarantee you it's the best experience that has ever happened to us for children ages between 5 and maybe 17. In Uganda, it's completely different because, when Auntie Gretchen has seen me at the center of this, you stand somewhere and say, guys, it is time to go to, and everybody will move that direction. We don't say, I know, that one is not there. We just say, okay, the director has spoken, we go. Finally, I want to say that the most important thing that the kids have experienced is really love. Love is the only thing that anybody can give without spending any penny. And at Peace Camp, that is priceless. I remember I think the first time when we gave the kids the watermelon in Uganda, they said, for those of you who are privileged to be going to the stores to buy maybe a piece of beef or something, in Uganda, during Peace Camp, we give the children an experience to just have a small piece of protein in beef. And every time they say, oh my, I look forward to having that again. Because in some of their homes, they never have that. When we tell the kids here, be thankful for who you are and the parents you have. Because somewhere in Africa, a kid is just thankful because he gets to go to the swimming pool once a year during Peace Camp International. Thank you so much for supporting Peace Camp in Uganda, and I would like to, in a very special way, thank the Interfaith Community Sanctuary for supporting this program. I can pledge that in as far as and in as long as I live, I'm going to keep Peace Camp International going in Uganda with your support. Thank you so much. And now, may I also take this opportunity to invite Aiden, who has been leading us in camp this past week, and he has done an amazing job to say and speak to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. So when I came to Peace Camp, I was probably 13 or 14, and Bernard and Mangesh were both counselors here, as well as Auntie Gretchen, and I immediately was just, I felt that there was something special here because these people who are coming from around the world share really amazing stories and insights. And so I would like to thank you both for being here when I was there. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience at Peace Camp since I've been there for now 5 years. I came to Auntie Gretchen looking for my volunteer hours, and I had no idea what Peace Camp was. I'd never been a camper here, but I needed my volunteer hours, so I said, hey, this is a cool opportunity to get some volunteer hours for high school, and I showed up and was really just, I loved the energy and the way that everyone was sharing and very intentional about what they were doing. It was something that was kind of unusual in like summer camps and schools and stuff. There was a lot of joy and the focus on peace was really beautiful. And so I came back the next year and the next year and the next year, and every year there's opportunities to grow for the kids and the campers and the CITs, and I think that is something that's really unique about Peace Camp, is that people want to come back because each year there's new challenges and there's new rewards. Like this, like talking in front of people is it's something that you're encouraged to do, and you're encouraged to step out of your comfort zone, and children really rise to the challenge, and counselors rise to the challenge, and so Peace Camp is a place where people grow. And I think that another thing that really helps make that possible is that it includes people of all age ranges. So there's people from 4 years old at our morning circles, and there's people that are our elders, and then every age in between. So people have role models to look up to, and at the same time they have people that they are leading themselves, which is a really unique experience in Seattle, actually, because a lot of summer camps are kind of partitioned off. You're with everyone in your age group, and there's one person in charge of you. But at Peace Camp, there's this feeling that you're a family, and there's many generations of people who are going to be taking care of you, and people that you yourself are taking care of. So that is why I've been coming back for 5 years, and this is my 5th year, and I am very, very thankful for this opportunity. And being able to lead this week has been really exciting, and I sang with Max at the talent show, which was scary but fun, and yeah, so thank you all.
He's a very good singer.
Yeah. Thank you, Aiden. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, Auntie Gretchen. I will not take much time. In Peace Camp, we have like these circles in the morning, but after circles, we have some stretching. So I want to share with that, because you are sitting a long time. Just put your hands like this, apart. Take it a little bit down. And while you're taking up, breathe in and slowly breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Wow. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Go. Breathe in and slowly breathe out. One more time, because we can. One more time. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, go. Peace. Thank you, everyone. They already spoke about, excuse me for my English, because English is my 4th language. So if I'm here and there, just please understand me. As they already shared about the Peace Camp, I want to talk about what is peace? What is peace? So most of the people, they ask, the internationally people, they ask like, what is Peace Camp? What is Peace Camp International? So everybody feels like you have to sit for the meditation, you have to do the prayer. That is how the meditation and prayer start, and that's how the peace comes, you know. Or putting your phone on the silent, lighting the candle, that is the peace moment. But the peace camp is also that, but not whole thing about that. The Peace Camp International, what makes this Peace Camp International, we have a dance, we have a music, we have sadness, we have happiness, we have all kind of feelings in the Peace Camp. And we invite all ages. And that's what we need in this world. And the important thing, when anybody can feel, when they are dancing, they feel, wow, I like my dance. That is the peace inside. When you draw and you see the drawing and you feel, wow, that's a beautiful drawing. That is the peace. When you're walking with someone, when you finish your conversation and you feel, wow, I learned something. That is the peace. When you're looking each other, hearing what the feeling that person is going through, and you feel that same way, that is the peace camp. So we are not teaching other than this to the kids. And we are always telling them, we are not teaching anybody. We are telling everything. Because when you're teaching someone, it's my own philosophy. When you're teaching someone, you're like a teacher and the student. But you are telling something, it means you have become a friends. And in the peace camp, we all are friends from the different communities. And that's what makes peace camp. So now I will go with the peace and love. So when Auntie Gretchen came to India, I was doing some activity. I grown up in orphanage called Mahir, as Salij Auntie said, and my spiritual mother is Sister Lucy Kurian, who is a Catholic nun. I born in an untouchable family called the lowest caste in India, and went to that orphanage. The age of 6 and 7, I was with my mother trying to get the food, wanted to go to school, but never got a chance to go to school, never got the good food to eat, was trying. And when one lady came to my life, her name is Sister Lucy Kurian, and she found me and she said, what do you want? And I just said, I want food. She asked my mom, can we take him? My mom said yes, because she want her child to be in the same safe space. Because where I was born in untouchable family, you might read about it once you go home. Just read about what is untouchability in India. The lowest caste called Dalit. And after some years, that lady, Sister Lucy Kurian, and one social worker, they took me to the Mahir. And first thing what I found is interfaith. If you go to Mahir and you see there is so many symbols of different religion, and in between there is a light. And I said, wow, that light looks so good. And that's represent every religion. And once I start growing, I start getting my food, hot meal in the first time, start getting my clothes, and I was very happy, like, because everybody was expecting. Because when I was in that slum, everybody was like calling me like something and hitting me, and I was running here. I was going to someone's house and stealing something because there is nothing to eat. And I was doing so many bad things. When I went to Mahir, why I'm calling love is important part, as Bernard also said. When I went to the Mahir, the Sister Lucy Kurian, by birth she's a Catholic nun. She taught us about in every religion there is love, but love has no religion. Because every religion talks about love, how we can love one another, but their love has no religion, and that's the love is become my religion. Because in every religion there is love, so I can accept every religion what there is good things. And that's how when Auntie Gretchen came to India, she thought this guy will be good for the Uncle Jamal service, and he can learn something interfaith things. And I was very happy, but I don't know what is America, how I'm going to America and anything. With my cell phone, I still remember the old cell phone. She filled up my all visa forms. And I was just asking her, Auntie, would you like to have some cold water? Auntie, would you like to have some Sprite? That's a big story. And in India, it's in June or April. It's very, very hot. And I was just asking the 2 questions. That's it. And she was filling all the questions for my visa. I don't know how many questions were there. And then I came here. This is the first place where we started the Peace Camp International. And it's an interfaith community sanctuary. And I was so connected with that. Because I feel everybody's welcomed here. And every human being needs that. Like everybody can welcome into their hearts. And I felt in love with the Interfaith Community Sanctuary, and then with the Peace Camp. And that's how the love and peace started connecting in my life. And in 2013, I was thinking how I can work more with the Sister Lucy. And 7 years back, Sister Lucy is the founder, and I'm a director coordinator for Interfaith Association for Service to Humanity and Nature. So that's how we founded the organization, and I'm running that organization last 7 years. And with that, when I started learning about myself, is being you. It's very important. Until and unless, if you're not being you, you will not achieve anything. You will lose anything, everything. So being you is very important in the Interfaith Community Sanctuary, because that's how people see you, from the inner eyes. From these eyes, everybody can see, but inner eyes are very important to see what's happened. And that's how I say, in Peace Camp, we also hear about the painful stories and the happy stories. Because happy stories, everybody can share. Painful stories is very hard to share. And that's how in the Peace Camp, when we get a time, what we call a free time, we sit with the children and just start sharing about how my life was, how the African life, how the American life, as you're grown up. Because with the fun, we learn. And that's how we started the Peace Camp. So thank you so much, Auntie Gretchen and Sister Lucy Korean, who give me a spiritual path, and my mother. Now after 23 years, I'm staying with my mother this year from the December. So I'm very happy about my biological mom. And sharing the platform, I told you, I'm untouchable. I feel like sharing with the stage with these people, I'm feeling the richest person in the world, because I feel touched. And thank you so much for filling up that gap for my life. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And I will pass over to our founder and director, Auntie Gretchen.
Okay, so something exciting to look forward to. I told them, if we finish at 10:45, we can do a sample of our circle meeting. If we finish at 11, I said if we finish at 10:45, we'll do a sample of a circle meeting and a Bollywood dance. If we finish at 11, we'll just do the Bollywood dance. So you have that to look forward to. Before we do that, I just want to thank everybody for coming, and I'm going to pass the plate. Before I pass the plate, I want to say that I don't know if I mentioned, this building is a historic preservation site. So our community is responsible for its upkeep. And at our guiding council meetings, I would say the bulk of what we talk about is taking care of this building, and how, if we have enough funds, or what we need to do, if we need to do a fundraiser to help with this fund. And right now, our biggest issue is flooding in the winter. So that's something that our building committee is constantly working on. And then I noticed that the paint is chipping outside. Did you notice that? Like, Michael, I'm sure. Yeah, so there's my big pitch. I'm already thinking, how can Peace Camp help, with the fundraising for that, because we love this building. So thank you for your contributions. Thank you. And by the way, we're not very comfortable with passing the plate. It's really an issue for our community. We're terrible at asking for money. And I'll have to confess, now that I have the microphone, every time I do a monthly online, so every time when I'm here as a congregation member, and I just pass it like that, I think, I want to say, I give online. So the last thing that we do here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary is a closing prayer. Before we do that, Mangesh and I are going to do the Gayatri Mantra together. And I just really want to thank everybody for coming and supporting us with your presence. And Jamal always says when he does his service, please know that your presence is truly a blessing. And before I ever led a service, I used to think, Jamal says that every Sunday. Please know that your presence is truly a blessing. And then when I was leading, I was like, whoa, he's totally right. Your presence really is truly a blessing. So thank you, everybody, for coming, and the online people also. So we're going to do the Gayatri Mantra. Do we need the... I guess we can put this so they can hear us. Sorry. I'm told that makes a lot of noise online. Put it right there. Okay.
Sit however you feel comfortable. We'll just do the Gayatri Mantra chanting from India with Auntie Gretchen.
Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And now, we should do the Pani Pani, because we're going to do the Pani Pani. So if everybody could scoot their chair, that's a Bollywood dance. And I'll tell you the story of the Pani Pani. When I went to Maher one time, one of the little boys did this dance for me. And I really liked it, so the next summer when Gauss and Mangesh came, I showed them the dance, because I didn't know the words, and they said, oh, that's the Pani Pani, and that has become the favorite dance in Seattle and in Uganda. The kids love the Pani Pani. So water, yeah. So let's kind of get like in a rows. If you feel shy, you won't feel shy in a minute.
Yeah, all shyness will go and just peace and love will come back.
Should we...
Can
Huh?
you connect your phone? Because
My
it's have
phone?
Yeah. It's have
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he's got it.
That's the different one.